Esau Edom is a sadist. He enjoys inflicting pain on others, and it makes sense, especially when you go back to his blessing. By thy sword thou shalt live. He makes a living off of killing people and inflicting pain on others. And, this makes sense when you read this headline here from zerohedge.com. Link will be in the description. But anyways, call Allah, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. And I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. And those are the powers that I do worship. Those are the original powers that are found in the Bible. And those are who you ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. Yeah, I said their names in the Paleo Hebrew. This is VOJ, Voice of Jacob. And my name is Brother Gabari Allah. And Lord willing, this will be edifying and thought-provoking in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Also double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS. To USA Shalom. So, Sex Dungeon, former Soros fund manager arrested on allegations of sadistic abuse. Damn. A former New York financier who managed money for George Soros has been arrested on charges spanning bank fraud to sex trafficking. Yeah, because he's a thief, man. A thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy as well, man. And that's all these guys are. They're just thieves, thieves, sophisticated thieves, classy thieves, or you could say classy thugs. That's what I call them. And this is George Soros on the left. I don't know who that woman is. Probably some Playboy vixen or model, right? And then this is Howard Rubin, which for short he goes by Howie. So this guy has been, he's getting arrested on charges going into bank fraud and sex trafficking. But it's come out that this guy had a sex dungeon, a soundproof sex dungeon, and he would beat and electrocute and humiliate and dominate these women. And the women that he was getting, they were beautiful women too. Top women, right? These are, this is the type of money. This is the type of woman that you're gonna get if you have the money, right? But they were good-looking women, and this is what they're doing with them. Instead of procreating with them and so-called making love to them like how you should naturally, he's beating them. Only a sadistic weirdo would do something like this, and that's Esau Edom, man. He can't change, man. It doesn't matter if you put a suit and tie on him, you dress him up, you educate him, you shave him, put some cologne on him, he's still a degenerate. And this is the guy that is ruling over us. This is the guy that has all the money, and he's in charge of the world. And these are the things that he's doing. And the Lord was not playing in what he prophesied in the book of Daniel. Let's see if I can get it here. This is Daniel chapter 4. Start at verse 16 here. 17. This is Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. For this matter is by the decree of the watchers, the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. So you see that? And Esau Edom is a base man. And we know that the Lord set this up. The Lord set this up to show you his power, and really to punish us for our disobedience, starting with the nation of Israel, because you were given the law, statutes, and commandments. You can go in the book of the law to get a better understanding of that, on how the Lord was dealing with us, right? The Lord was dealing with us, and our people, they fail to acknowledge that. There's some precepts that come to mind here. I wrote some down. I wrote some precepts down. Pull them up a bit. I wrote some down earlier today. We were given the law, statutes, and commandments, especially when you go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 5 on down. talks about how the laws were given to us to elevate us above the nations, man. So we are a very sophisticated people, but due to us going away from the law and moving away from the Heavenly Father, we have degenerated. And by default, that has caused these other nations to become lords over us. And that's also pursuing to the book of Second Ezra, the 6th chapter. It goes into that. Ezra's the prophet. He was complaining to the Lord and saying, man, when is the world going to be ours? You promised us all these things. And these heathens have become lords over us. When is this all going to end? You see, and the reason why we got to that point and why also Ezra was complaining is because, of our disobedience, man. That's why we were disobedient. So we are a very powerful nation, but as of right now, we die like men. Even though we are the gods, we die like men, and we're under these devils and these other nations, and that's due to our disobedience. But the precept says the basis of man, and Esau is a base man. Let's go to the book of Job to further prove that. This is Job chapter 30, and we're going to start at the 8th verse. So this is Job chapter 30. I'll start at verse 1, and then I'm going to jump down to verse 8. But you know what? For the sake of time, you can read it for yourself. I'm just going to jump down to verse 8. It says, they were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. And now am I their song, yea, I am their byword. Now, if you're somebody's song or byword, that means you're pretty much under them. Yeah, and they're over you, right? If they're able to do those things to you. Right? That means you're very low and they're on top. And also that's a part of the curses that the Israelites are under. You shall become a proverb and a byword and an astonishment among the people, right? That's in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. But the point is in verse 8, man, yea, children of base men, they were viler than the earth. You see? Base man. Okay? And that simply goes into them being outcast from society as well. But they're very, very base, which just simply means very low. And only a low individual do something like this, man. Here it is. You get a beautiful woman with nice breast, nice features, right? You can have a baby with this woman. And you can have a beautiful family with a woman like this. But this is what you do to them, man. You just inflict pain on them. You make them suffer, and then you enjoy it, right? So it says, Howard Rubin, 70, was taken into custody Friday morning at his home in Fairfield, Connecticut, according to a 10-count indictment. Unsealed in a Brooklyn federal court, Rubin is accused of sex trafficking at least 10 women between 2009 and 2019, luring them to various NYC hotels and a Manhattan penthouse with a soundproof BDSM sex dungeon where he restrained, beat, and shocked them with electricity, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Brooklyn. Rubin reportedly spent at least $1 million on said activities. He has also been charged with bank fraud related to false statements on financial documents during a civil lawsuit stemming from these activities. Yeah, that's true. And he's a sexual deviant. He's into BDSM, right? Dominatrix, and things like that, right? So he's sick in the head, but he's also a thief, very covetous, and he's probably a murderer too. This guy probably caused a lot of deaths, right? And these are what you call corporate crooks. And when you get to the top of America, at the top of the pyramid, that's who's running the world. Corporate crooks. Look at Donald Trump. He's the president. He's another example. He's a corporate crook too. He had to rub shoulders with criminals. Yet alone, he probably is one. Most likely he is, right? And that's another thing. I'm going to just kind of go off topic a bit, going into the Epstein files. How come he didn't release that yet? And I guarantee you, well, I won't say I guarantee you. I'll just say I bet I'm sure there's a high chance that these people that you see here, they're on the list. Mainly the guy on the left and the right, Soros and this Rubin guy. They're probably on that list too. And George Soros, man, he's a big time investor. He's a billionaire too, and he through his I think it's called the Open Society Foundations. He financed a lot of these organizations that you see out here today, like BLM, and BLM is very destructive. That's all by design. The men like these, they finance things like that. Order at KO, man, when you go into it. Pressure from above and below. They're all a part of it, man. This is he's a part of the secret council of the wicked too. Psalms 64th chapter. But, I made my point. This guy is sadistic, and Esau Edom cannot change. Now, let me get a precept here. See if I can find one. This is Genesis chapter 27, verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. That's right. He's going to be rich as hell. Rich. Okay, he's going to have a lot of riches, resources. And, the real riches and wealth that comes out of the earth. And this guy owns everything on the planet Earth. A majority of things, that is, right? But he's living very lofty. He's living a very opulent lifestyle. Okay, he lives in the best parts of the world. He eats the best food. He gets the best of everything. While you normal people out here, you regular folks, you get the dregs. Right? You use terms like, we use terms like we eat the best from the worst, when they eat the best of the best. Right? All these places like Whole Foods, all them stuff, that stuff is overpriced, and a lot of that food is garbage too. If you're really paying attention and you're looking at what you're eating. But anyway, that's another topic. This is verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. All right, so yeah, man. So he pretty much lives by the sword. He kills for a living, and he enjoys it. He enjoys it. That same spirit is in him, which that same spirit is Cain. He was Cain coming back in the spirit, and Cain was the first murderer. Somebody that does this, they'll murder you, man. Right? They'll murder you. They'll kill you without hesitation. Look at this, man. Manhattan penthouse with a soundproof BDSM sex dungeon where he restrained, beat, so that means he tied them down, man. Shackled them down with chains. Beat, so he had whips or other things that he used to beat them with, who knows, and shock them with electricity. Yep. Sounds like torture to me. That doesn't sound like sex. That sounds like torture. So this is who you're dealing with, man. A base man. But remember who's in control. Yahweh Bashim Shai put this man in this position. But he's coming to his end. We're at the end of his world. And that's why all of this stuff is coming out. All of this dirt is coming out on this devil. Because we're at the end of his rule. And he's being exposed for who he is. Can't hide their dirt any longer, man. They're being exposed. And that's through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai. He's removing the covering cast off the people's minds, man. And all this information is coming out. So, anyways, with that, I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace to you, and shalom unto the hopeful elect. This is VOJ, Voice of Jacob. My name is Brother Gabari Allah, and I hope this was edifying. Shalom.